One of the issue is when the hole is too close to the fold line, what do we do? And the issue number two is how do we fold when the flange length is actually smaller than a V block and we have to fold it. So what are the options here and how can we get that sorted without scratching our head and without making a more scrap out of our sheet metal? So the first problem that we have here is when the hole is too close to the fold line. So how do we deal with the deformation of the hole, or how do we stop it from happening? Can you avoid that hole by any chance? If you can, best to avoid the hole in that place. Now, if you can't avoid that hole, then you have to follow certain steps to make sure you get the holes in right position. Now, to get that hole in right position, which is near to the V block and which falls into the V block V size, that means it's going to get deformed if you follow a normal process. So how do we get rid of it? And how do we get a good hole? You need to understand how the material will behave. So when we fold material, when we do any folding, what happens is it takes the material, it moves the material from one place to another where it is softer. So the reason why the hole is deforming is when you apply pressure, the material is on the weakest point where there is a hole. That means there is a line going through there and material has the weakness over that particular part. That means if that part falls into the V block, it is going to get deformed. So to avoid this situation, create something bigger than that where the material deformation happens more than the hole deformation. For example, we can create the slots or we can create the slit lines to fold the metal in a way that it will deform the fold line, but it will not deform the hole. So deformation at the hole will be minimal, and the more deformation will be at the fold lines or the slit lines where we cut the slits, and then we can, once it's get folded, we can just do simple welding and we can get a good nice part for ourselves. If you don't want to do slit cutting and or if you don't want to do a slot cutting for that, what we can do is we can etch the cross mark and then we can drill it afterwards, which is the most common option. Get the hole nearby to the fold line. The other option, the third option that you can have to get that hole in a place is we just laser cut 2 mm hole in that place. So in that way it will deform and then you will have a pilot hole to drill further and make it a 5 mm hole. But the best option here is to get a slit line or get another deformation point which is bigger than the hole, and it will have more deformation than the hole. Now there is one more option to do this kind of folding. This option involves buying some accessories to make sure the hole doesn't fall in the gap. That means you can buy some extra rollers or roller V's which can actually help prevent the holes falling into the V block. If you are having a regular folding which has a hole near to the V block or hole near to the fold line. How do we fold a flange that is too close to the fold line? So to solve that, if you can avoid that, always avoid that kind of situation where you have a flange length falling into the V block. So the another option for you is to use manual bender. If it is just on one side or two sides, as long as it's not on four sides, you can use manual bender which have a really tight tolerance on folding those kind of fold. So you can actually have 1 mm, 2 mm, as long as it fits in the block, and then you use the manual bender to fold it, it will work good and you can fold the metal very nicely. Now the third option that you have here is also you can fold a big size and then you can cut the rest with a grinder and then you can have a nice size that you are expected. There is one more option here, and that option is again the same. You buy a roller die, that you buy rollers that fit into the die block in a way so you can get a fold that is smaller than your V block. You should always avoid this kind of situation when you can, but if you can't, only after that use these three methods to get the fold that you require in the sheet metal workshop. Thank you very much guys for watching. Please like, share and subscribe and keep watching.